work with that 8 minutes. If you don't hit all the points within that 8 minutes, you are not yet ready for their exam. Hi beautiful viewers and subscribers, how you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Yeah, thanks to everyone that reached out to me. I went on maternity leave and I'm back. Okay, I appreciate your care, your concern, and for those that have watched my videos, those that subscribed, and those that shared my video, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I'm back on track again to be updating you on how you can successfully migrate from wherever you are to practice as a nurse in Republic of Ireland. So today we'll be talking about how to pass your Rcsi Osce at first attempt. Yes, it's possible. I passed at first attempt, and I can count good number of people that also passed at first attempt. So it's possible, it's doable. You can do it. And I bet you it's better you pass at first attempt, because when you don't pass at first attempt, you have only one chance to retry. And if anything goes wrong in the second attempt, that will be all for that very decision later. So today, guys, get your pen. If you know you want to relocate to Republic of Ireland to practice as a nurse, get your pen and let's go. So guys, I'm going to be taking it one after the other, okay, on things that you can do to pass your Osce at first attempt. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I would advise you to start preparation before you book your exam, because most often when you book for your exam, you might have maybe 3 months or 4 months. Not like it's not enough for you to prepare within that 3 months or 4 months. But I'm afraid that if you are the type that work, that have family, it might be difficult for you to understand what you're expected to do in each station. So I advise you start preparation before book. But if you book before preparation, it's still up to you, okay? The speed differs. My speed might not be the same with your speed. So first of all, you need to have a notebook. I advise that you should write down what you are expected to do in each station, so that anytime you are practicing and you feel like you're not getting it right, you fall back to your notebook. And how do you come up with a notebook? Because it's not about getting a notebook. You have to go to their site, www.rcsi.com. Click on the preparation, and you see the list of topics they have there for you to prepare with. And sometimes most people do reach out to me that, nurse goodness, I've gone through the website, but I still don't understand how or what is expected of me to do. Yes, I felt like that in the initial time I started the process. But I advise you to have different sections in your notebook for each stations, for that 14 stations. Okay, that is one. For example, if it's an admission station, you have admission station there as the topic or as the caption of that section or whatever. And then you write what you're expected to do. It's difficult. It's going to take you time. But I bet you at the end of it, it's worth it. Okay. Like, I walk into the station, I check scene for safety, I perform my hand hygiene, I introduce myself. Hello, I'm Nurse Goodness. I'm one of the nurses in this station. I take consent from the patient. I cross-check the identity of the patient. You write all this thing down. Okay? Admission station. What do they want you to do? If it's, for example, maybe they want you to carry out assessments on a patient to check for risks of malnutrition, maybe must. Then you write out all the things that you want to do on that station. It will help you so that anytime you are practicing, if there's anything you are missing out, it's not like you're going to go in stereotyped, but there are things that are basic and you have to have it done for you to pass the exam. Another thing I will advise you to do, which is the second thing, after you've come up with your notes, you will be amending the notes as you go enter attend classes. You'll be amending the notes as you read. Okay, yeah, you keep amending the notes. Okay, another thing I will advise you to do is to download all the forms that you need for that exam. It's very important. If you don't familiarize yourself with the forms, you'll be stranded. You'll struggle a lot when you get into the Osce stations. You need to download the form, the MUST form, the INEWS form, the FRAT form, the neurovascular form, ISBA form, all the forms in that website. There are a lot of them. You need to download them, and as you're practicing each station, practice with the forms, please. Don't assume you know. Don't assume that it's by, okay, I know I'm going to do the identity. I is for identity, S for a situation. I'm going to be telling the doctor what is wrong with the patient. B is background. I'm going to be download the form, work with the form is very important. Okay? Because the more you practice with the form, the more you acquaint yourself with things that are there. So that when a descriptor is given to you, it will not be difficult for you to fill those forms. Because you already know that in ISBA form, the first thing there is about identity. You're talking about yourself. The second thing you're talking about there, maybe about the doctor, the name of the patient. Because you have already assessed the form, you have practiced with the form, it saves you time when you enter the exam hall. Okay, so let's go to the third thing that you need to do. So the third thing you need to do is to time yourself. You need to be sincere to yourself anytime you are preparing for this exam. There's no cheating. There's no preferential treatment. 10 minutes is 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes includes the time of introduction. Okay, as far as I know, except if they've changed it. So when you are practicing, I advise you to get a stopwatch. Use your stopwatch. Time yourself. Don't work with that 10 minutes. I didn't work with that 10 minutes when I was preparing. I worked with 8 minutes. Make sure that everything in that descriptor, that you finish the task within 8 minutes, please. Because that day is expected that you'll be anxious to some extent. Yeah, to some extent, you'll be anxious. And with the anxiousness, you might not be able to meet up with time. So I advise you to practice with 8 minutes. Okay? It's very important. So have a stopwatch. When you start timing yourself, you can even make a video of yourself when you are presenting, so that there after the presentation, that's when you're reading, after the presentation, you listen back to what you presented. In that way, you are more settled to reflect, what was I supposed to say that I didn't say? Or I should have said it this way. No, it's not this way. Then you correct yourself, okay? That is another thing. That is number 3. Now, let's go to number 4 of what the things that you need to do for you to pass your exam, at first attempt. That's Rcsi Osce exam at first attempt. Before I proceed, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly click subscribe button, like my videos. I'm sure there's none of my video that you will not find a vital information on how to make this exam. So the fourth thing that you need to do is to have a reading mate. It is not compulsory. There are people that prefer to read on their own and they still pass their exam. But for people like me, I prefer to have a reading mate, okay? So try and get a reading mate who is doing the same thing with you, who is preparing for the same exam with you. It's going to help you because she will be the one that will be assessing you. It might likely work for you. So get a reading mate that will be assessing you, even if the person doesn't have much information to give, because both of you are preparing. It's quite understandable. But talking to somebody, presenting to somebody has a way of building the confidence in you, so that because that day you're going to be presenting to a human being, which is your assessor. So having someone that you present to will, to some extent, build up your morale, so that on the day of exam, you still see it like you're talking to that person. Okay? Advice to get a reading mate. It's very important. Okay? Someone that will time you, someone that will assess you, someone that will tell you, okay, you didn't say this. But sometimes you even be speaking, you think that you said that. There was a lady that reached out to me that was like, oh, when I was presenting, I thought I asked about allergy. And funny enough, she didn't. To be honest, she didn't ask for an allergy. But she thought she did. So, but if you have an assessor, if you have someone that is assessing you, who is going to give you a listening ear and listen to what you are presenting, she will be able to spot out those errors, things that you think you thought about, but you didn't talk about them. Okay? So get a reading mate. So let's go to the 5th thing that you need to do. Next is don't be anxious. Try not to be too anxious. Because if I say don't be anxious, it's normal that someone that is going into an exam, the adrenaline secretion, the person will be anxious. What am I going to say? What am I going to meet? What kind of people will be there? Will I be able to understand their accent, especially those coming from Africa and some other countries that find it difficult to understand Irish accents? So it is very okay for you to be anxious, but don't be over anxious. And another tip that I want to give to you guys, please try as much as possible to be very confident in your first station and second station. You come back to thank me if you do this. If you are confident in your first station, like when you have prepared, you come into the exam hall and you are not overconfident, but you are not very anxious that you end up forgetting things that you have read or things that you knew before coming to the exam. If you are confident and you're able to pass the first station, you're able to like do very well in first station, I bet you the remaining stations will be easy for you. Because most nurses that reached out to me that failed the exam, when I asked them, I noticed that the first station, they were anxious. They forgot a lot of things. Some of the bullet points in the descriptors, they didn't talk about it because they were anxious. No, not because they don't know it, because they were anxious. And because of that, they carry over that anxiousness, their errors in the previous station to the next station. If you do that, you end up failing the next station. Remember, you are meant to pass these 14 stations for you to have your pin as an Irish nurse. So, when you go into a station, try as much as possible to be calm. Be calm. Take a deep breath. It's not a do or die affair. Okay? But it's better you do it well. Take a deep breath. Speak as fast and as slow as you can. I know why I said so. Because you're not meant to be too slow. If you're too slow, time will be against you. So if you're anxious, you'll forget a lot of things. And you might likely carry it over to the next station. Okay? First station, second station, third station. Try to be calm. If you get it right there, I bet you, because there's this confidence when you're coming out of the exam hall or when you're coming out of the station, a particular station, you know, yes, I did my best. There's that joy. Okay, that means I've done 1 out of 14. I have 13 to go. Let me go to the next station. And you go in there again and you are calm as you could be. Okay, you see that second station, you will also do very well. And then the third station, it continues like that. And at the point when you go for break, you say, oh, I've done my best. I've done the 7 stations. And I can tell myself that, yes, I've tried. And it continues that way. You're likely to pass your exam. But if you are anxious, you make mistake in the first station, you are thinking about the mistake you made in the first station, you go into the second one, yeah, there's possibility that you will also make more mistakes in the second station. Don't carry over errors you made in the other station to the next station. Okay? So another point is, guys, don't go in stereotyped. Don't go and nothing is not a cram work. It's about your skills. It's about what you can do and the rationale behind it. Do you know why you're doing that? As far as I know, the examiners there want you to pass. But then they want to pass those who know their onions. Those who knows what they're expected to do. And not those that will go and cram and then come and pour it to the assessor. That is not the kind of nurses they produce in Republic of Ireland. Okay. Listen to your assessor. Be a good listener. The scripture outside might tell you, okay, when you go in, assess the patient, the breathing. You should also nebulize the patient. You should give oxygen to the patient. Talk about the inhaler. Talk about intensive spirometry. Or whatever, talk about this, talk about that. That is what the descriptor said outside. Okay? Because you've read that, don't just go and continue. Then you talk about I'm going to give oxygen to the patient. I'm going to nebulize the patient. That is not what they want. Listen to the assessor. The assessor there is the person that will mark you. Okay? Don't go in stereotype. And then the assessor will say, assume that everything is clean. Assume that everything is clean. So why go in there? You don't need to do that, because she said that you should assume that your trolley is already cleaned. She has told you that. So going there today, I'm going to be cleaning the trolley. No, that is not what you are going in stereotype. It's what you crammed that you are coming to pour in. It's what you practice that you want to know. That's not what she wants from you. She said, assume the trolley is clean. So because the trolley is clean, what is expected of you? Go ahead and carry out the wound dressing or whatever the case is. Assume that the tray is clean. So go ahead and carry out the IV priming, carry out the whatever, because the assessor has said assume the tray. But the scriptum outside might say clean the trolley. But the assessor is saying assume is cleaned. So guys, there's no point going there to clean it again, because the assessor has told you that you should assume that the trolley is cleaned. Am I making sense, guys? Remember, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please search for Nurse Goodness, click on subscribe button, share my videos, like my videos. These are things that will encourage me to do more. It will tell me that the society needs what I'm giving out. Okay, so let's go to the next tip, guys. Another important thing is, although it's not accredited by Rcsi, as far as I know, I don't know any school of thought, I don't know any teaching center that is approved by Rcsi. Okay, there are a lot of YouTube videos on stations. There are a lot of videos on how you can pass your Rcsi, but I advise you to search for people that are doing the same thing with you. Try and join groups. Okay, it is not official, it is off record, but if you have access to people that are preparing for the exam, there's no harm in looking out for people that are doing the same thing with you and then practicing with them. But as far as I know, I don't think there's anyone recognized by Rcsi. Okay, so what we do is just to give you tips on how you can pass, but every other thing has to be done by you. Nobody will do it for you. So guys, in summary of this video, what I've been able to do in this video is to tell you things that you need to do for you to pass your Rcsi exam at first attempt, which I did. I passed mine at first attempt, as I told you earlier on. So you have to book for your exam, but before booking for your exam, try and practice as much as possible. Make sure that you're already familiar with the things that you're expected to do before you book for your exam, if you want. But if you want to do it the other way around, the choice is yours. So you have to get a notebook. Okay, get a notebook and write down all the 14 stations. Write down, don't be a lazy writer. Write down all the things that is expected of you to do in each station. Okay, the annual station, admission station, wound dressing, IV priming, all the stations. Write it down and write the things you're expected to do, as in how do you walk into the station, what do you do next, what do you do next. That is what I want to, it will help you anyways. Okay, so after that, familiarize yourself with all the forms. Download, print out all the forms. Okay, familiarize yourself with the forms, practice with the form. Get a reading mate if you can. Okay, I advise you, if you have someone that you're preparing with, it will help you. Have a stopwatch, work with the timing, because they won't give you extra time in an exam hall, and because you're likely to be a bit anxious, you might not be as fast as you could be, okay, ordinarily when you are practicing. So I advise you to practice with 8 minutes. Have a stopwatch. There's no, don't give yourself any preferential treatment by extending the time to 11-12 minutes. You're killing yourself and your skills. So work with that 8 minutes. If you don't hit all the points within that 8 minutes, you're not yet ready for their exam. For example, the wound dressing, you're expected to finish everything, all the tasks in wound dressing within that 8 minutes. If you are not getting it within that 8 minutes, you need to still work on your time skills. Okay, that is it. And then you have to also, I've talked about getting the forms, talk about practicing with someone doing the same thing. I've talked about getting yourself with maybe groups, though none of them is accredited as far as I know or recognized by Rcsi. And you don't need to be anxious. Okay, when you go into your stations, try to be as calm as you can in the first station, second station, because it's going to help you a long way for you to pass the remaining stations. And don't go in stereotyped. Listen to the assessor. It's very important. If you don't listen to them, if they're asking you, and it is okay for you not to understand their accent. It's also okay for them not to understand their accent, because when I came into this country, I struggled a lot with their accents. They speak very fast. The Irish, they speak very fast. So if they say something and you don't understand, there's no harm in asking your assessor, could you please say that again? In a very amicable, respectful way. She will be happy to say it again. Don't assume you think, or don't assume that she said this. Because if she asks you to do this and you're doing a different thing, she was going to mark you 0 because you didn't carry out the task she asked you to do. So if you have problem with the accent, it is okay, but then try to listen attentively to hear them, because it's exam time. Your time is going. They're not going to give you extra time because you don't understand their accent. If you don't understand any of the tasks, or you want them to go over it again with you before you start, it's fine. They won't mark you. They won't undermark you because of it. Okay, guys? Yeah. So I'll be coming up with different videos now. I'm back from maternity leave. Thank you all once again for those that reached out to me during my time of maternity leave. Thank you for your prayers. I'm happy to inform you all that I gave birth to a baby girl, a bouncing baby, Irish baby girl. Yeah, and she's doing very well, and as you can see, the mother is also doing very well. Thank you for your subscription, thank you for your sharing, and I expect more from you guys in this video. See you in my next video. Love you guys.